Okay, we're still waiting for a fair number of people, so I'm going to wait for a few minutes. But please start taking your seats.
Yeah, and I have to have it down here.
Oh, okay.
If they're talking and I'm doing the slides.
Okay.
Where'd you guys go for lunch?
Grab and go. We had pizza. Split a pizza. I went there yesterday. Ham and cheese sandwich. $19. But it was the best sandwich I've had since.
Well, I've been buying little things of Sprite. I've done twice this week, I think. $5.50.
But do you know how much land this whole colony is?
Oh, it's a lot. Yeah.
46 acres.
Yeah, it's a lot. Okay, here comes our Dinego. Still missing Boz. Yeah, Sonny's coming. Oh, here comes Boz. We're still missing a lot of our DCOs.
We're Sonny.
Still not doing it.
Can we sit on these?
What's the matter? It was looking downstairs. No PowerPoints up here, right?
All right.
Come on.
All right, looks like we're gonna be delayed a few minutes because it seems like we're still missing some DCOSs. We're still missing a couple of our directorates. Looks like we've got our first groups back there. Thank you for that. And we'll wait another minute. How's that? You know, there's two things when people are late. Either they're out there gallagging, or whatever it is, or they're out there networking. I choose to think they're out there networking and in a good conversation. Or the wrong room. Yeah. Yeah, that's true too. It does take a few minutes, doesn't it? I still see some people coming in. We'll wait another minute. No, we're not taking time away from anybody. You got your full time. You know, it always happens, Chris, that some people take the whole time. Some people don't take as much time, and we still seem to do okay with their time, even if it's a little late. So, all right, I see more people coming. That's good. I'll start it in just a minute.
Hey, give me 1 minute. I'm gonna let you work.
I'll start at 5 after, because then it's easy for us to alter the times. It's a lot of work for Kelly to kind of alter the times. Although our AV folks in the back are doing a great job putting up time zones here, so you'll see the time and also it'll keep us on schedule too. All right. I think without further ado, I'll go ahead and get us started. So welcome to our Operational Training Summit. What are we calling this? Operational Training Review or as we all know and love it as Opcom. I have said this repeatedly, and it's worth repeating again. This is one of my favorite meetings every time I come. It really is. For me to hear, it holds a couple things. Number one, I like when our directorates boast about what they're doing. Number two, I love that our district commodores and DCOSs and our DIROCs and OTOs that are here get to hear about national and what's happening at national. And number three, I just like hearing what's going on, and I love seeing everybody. So I think we're going to go ahead and start. We'll wait for Kelly to come back. Got our first set ready. Pat's going to spend a couple minutes just going through, kind of ground rules and that, but otherwise we'll keep going. How's everybody's morning? Yes, good. How was the strategic planning going? Was that a pretty good session? Phenomenal. All right. Hats off to Sue for Commodore Sue Davies for putting that together. She led that. Excellent. Thank you. That was Sue's idea to do it that way, Commodore Davies' idea to do it that way. And how were your area meetings? Fantastic. Okay, good. Some of them were livelier than others, but it looked like you had a lot of work done and a lot of discussion, so that's good. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Pat.
Good afternoon. All right, so we are here for our operational training review, formerly Opcom, and we ask that the various directorates be on time. Take notes. There's not going to be time for questions and answers here, but take notes if you have questions and get with the directors and find out what's going on. Kudos to everybody on staff. Thanks for the great work that you're doing and that you continue to do. The Coast Guard Auxiliary couldn't do it without your dedication and your motivation, so keep it up. Don't take anything off the pedal. And with that, Kelly, I guess we're ready to start. Thank you.
Kind of warn me. All right, come on up. And if you want to introduce your directorate and all your directorates, you're more than welcome to do that first. Deputies, yep. Come up and you can introduce everybody, and then we'll get started with your first group, your first one. Everybody hear that?
Good afternoon. All right, you're not frozen yet, huh? All right, we're going to try to keep that blood pumping and get you guys awake here. So first up, I have Commodore Curtis Hahn representing the B Directorate. He is a deputy director, and Robin could not make it. He's actually working at the hospital right now, so we'll cut him some slack. And then we'll have E Directorate, Bob Brandenstein, Director, and Greg Fonzino, Deputy. And then we have V, Tom Niles, Director, and Mark Crary, Deputy Director. And for those of you that don't know, I'm Chris Wilson. I am the A-NACO of RB. So welcome.
I would like to please ask, as you introduce your area, please spell out what the B is, because we have a lot of people that are not, kind of new to national. So when you talk about the B Directorate, people don't know what that is. So please, in your topics, in your speeches, please talk about that.
Thank you, Commodore Wilson, for shaving 30 seconds off my speech. So B Directorate is Recreational Boating Safety Outreach Directorate. So RBS, of course, is a primary mission of the Coast Guard Auxiliary, and it is job one for our B Directorate. The B Directorate comprises of 4 divisions, each with distinct responsibilities. We have communications, who shares RBS messages with internal and external partners. District Liaison works with state partners to promote RBS. Paddlecraft Safety promotes RBS to the 40% of the boating community who are paddlers. And we have RBS Outreach Liaison who works with non-state partners, particularly industry and nonprofits, to promote RBS. Some of the accomplishments we've had in the past few months: during National Safe Boating Week, more than 100,000 views and reaches through social media, which equates to more than 300% increase compared to last year's. In addition, during National Safe Boating Week, we're happy to say all 219 West Marine stores had contacts, with auxiliary presence resulting in approximately 540,000 unique boating safety contacts. Paddlecraft Safety recently completed many training events, including a national training in Charleston, South Carolina, where personnel engaged with state boating experts, auxiliary members, and active duty Coast Guard personnel. The directorate is also publishing a series of technical reports on boating deaths, firmly establishing the auxiliary as leaders not only in boating safety but also in boating safety research. Unfortunately, we also face major challenges. State liaison officers, the SLOs, personnel who are appointed and supervised at the district level, they conduct day-to-day operations of district liaison divisions. Only have, unfortunately, 3 of the SLOs completed the online SLO training, and this also limits the division's functionality. The RBS Outreach Liaison was tasked in the most recent strategic plan with establishing letters of intent with new partners and updating existing agreements. The division aggressively jumped into this task, but faced with delays more than 6 months waiting for approval of these LOIs after submissions up the chain. The Paddlecraft Safety being an outreach mission that is seriously hampered by operational constraints that are developed for both programs' operations without regards to unique needs of the paddlecraft. For example, the recent mandated changes to personal protective equipment requirements that were imposed without regards to expert input from paddlecraft members and instructors. As a result, the required PPE interferes with essential self-rescue skills and among other tasks. The B Directorate, in closing, is responsible for engaging partners to achieve the auxiliary's core RBS mission. We serve as a force multiplier that expands the number of boating safety professionals working in alignment to make boating safer. Because, as you know, safe boating is more fun. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to the director, Robin, or myself. I'll be here till the rest of the weekend. And if not, you can contact us via call or email at any time. So thank you.
Good afternoon. Bob Brandenstein, Director of the Education Directorate E, and my deputy, Greg Fonzino. And we are proud to represent the Education Department on behalf of our entire team, our entire hardworking team. We've had some good successes here the first half of this year, and especially in instructor development. Building our instructor ranks and honing their skills is critical to the future of public education. This year, the instructor development team completed the 8th in a series of virtual training academy sessions, qualifying another 12 auxiliarists to join the ranks of instructors. We're pleased that several districts have adopted their own instructor development teams, and we're anxious for the remainder of the districts to follow that lead. Our instructor development update for next year will deploy hopefully on the Moodle platform. We're working on that now. We're also developing a master instructor program to recognize our most skilled instructors, and we expect to propose that early in the year of 2026. We continue to improve our existing course and seminar offerings, I can see it over here, with ongoing updates and enhancements. And we're working on updating several chapters of boating skills and seamanship, which we plan to offer as a supplement to Boat America for flotillas who wish to teach more than the basics. The highest honor we can bestow on an instructor is the Commodore Daniel Maxim Award for Excellence in Education. The 2024 winners were announced a few weeks ago, and their formal awards will be made here tomorrow. Last year, we developed a Golden Key and Lighthouse Awards to recognize instructors whose lead teaching hours well exceeded the 30 hours of instruction that are required to earn the Public Education Service Award. These awards have really been more successful than we expected, and honoring some 12,000 hours of instruction last year, and during the first half of this year, we made another 63 of these awards, representing over 5,000 hours of instruction. Those certificates will be mailed to the district commodores as soon as possible. Next. We do have our challenges, of course. Engaging flotillas in leadership continues to be a major challenge for us. Year-over-year results of the first half of this year show a continuing downward long-term trend in graduates. And while we have an extensive library of seminars, youth courses, short introductory courses, and other material that flotillas can adapt, there are still many flotillas who are not engaged in public education or who have not tried to teach seminars other than Boat America or state courses. Our staff is willing to assist flotillas and districts who ask for help, and we are willing to help you make your instructor training a part of your next D-Train. Just send a note to Greg or to me and to find out how. Earlier this year, we began assembling marketing tools for flotillas to help attract more students. And so far, 4 pieces have been approved, and they're now downloadable from our website with more to come. Our challenge here is to come up with more and different items that we can use and produce to get voters' attention. Please tell us your ideas for other educational marketing pieces. The importance of Coast Guard mission support is likely to grow as Force Design 2028 unfolds. And while we recognize that we must adjust our course of action to meet support needs, we cannot lose sight of our primary mission, why we exist. As Commodore Kirkwood reminded us yesterday, that mission is recreational boating safety, our best opportunity to save lives through education and prevention. Grant funding can allow us to develop boating safety media pieces, helping us to better compete with other providers in the recreational boating safety marketplace. We're seeking feedback on our previous grant applications so that we can have success during the next grant cycle. Please remember, we are the tip of the spear in preventing accidents and deaths. And we ask the assistance of leadership at all levels to help inspire our members to participate in RBS missions. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Bear with me for just 1 second. There we go. All right, so Commodores, district chiefs of staff, fellow directors, auxiliarists. My name is Tom Niles. I'm the director of the Vessel Exams and Partner Visitation Directorate, and I'm joined by my excellent deputy, Mr. Mark Crary. The results we'll discuss today are not the work of just myself and Mark, but also the result of my division chiefs, who I'd like to briefly recognize. For Vessel Exams, Craig Brown, Neil Slauson for Partner Visitation, Robert Hamming for Incentives, Bill Jefferson for special projects, Murray Price for safety programs, and Zachary Wilson-Fetro for communications. As we turn to our successes, I'm pleased to report that our strategic goal of a 5% increase for new vessel examiners has already been exceeded for this year. Through the focus of our district staff officers, we have added 284 new vessel examiners so far this year, which is an increase of 10% from the start of the year. Overall, we had a total increase in qualified vessel examiners of 20%, which represents both requalifications and new vessel examiners. We continue to make excellent progress on the update to OXData 2 for the 7038 Recreational Vessel Examination Activity Report, which will allow us to capture failure reasons on vessel examiners from the field. This effort is intended to make use of data that already exists but is not already included in OXData 2. We believe that this will help us improve our outreach to boaters and focus public education efforts on key areas that are identified based on the results of the vessel safety check. I'm optimistic that this feature will be ready to roll out for the beginning of the calendar year 2026. Many of our strategic goals, such as I Want a PV and VSC Station web pages, rely upon the support of our partners in the IT group to accomplish. In member training, we've been fortunate to be able to roll out workshops in Moodle, and we plan to do the same with the vessel examination training. I'm grateful for the support of those directors in ensuring that resources are available to help us continue to make RBS job one. Looking at areas for improvement, as one of the key customers of the Auxiliary National Supply Center, I'd like to recommend that we designate an Auxiliary Office of Primary Responsibility to create a single point of contact within the Auxiliary to work with ANSC and BSX. To be clear, I'm not asking for more offices or branches, but rather a way to coordinate the efforts of several directorates that have responsibility for materials at ANSC. We all get monthly updates on the inventory from ANSC, and the challenge is ensuring that we have the right items available to make the best use of the limited funds that we have available to us. On the performance front, as usual at this time of year, we're showing a decrease in VSCs and PVs from last year. Recently reported updated data in OXData shows a 6% decrease in VSCs and a 13% decrease in PVs. I'm requesting the district commanders and chiefs of staff to please help us remind members to report their activity and not wait until the end of the year to do their reporting. It seems like every year we have the same issue. Folks wait until the very end to do their reporting, and then we're okay, but throughout the year we look like we're not doing as well as we really actually are. Related to this issue, as we continue to have members report non-lead time on their activity reports for vessel examiners and for program visitors. And as everybody knows, that's a valid, appropriate reporting if you're doing public education courses, but not for vessel safety checks and program visits. You're either the lead or you're a trainee, but you're not a non-lead. We ask for your help in continuing to remind our members about this nuance in reporting activity. We will continue to push this message through our communications channels from our monthly meetings with our DSOs in both vessel exams and partner visitation. Looks like I have a minute, so one other thing real quick. I'm really happy to say that for the first time since the pandemic, we've increased our per vessel examiner VSC number back to 24 vessel safety checks per vessel examiner, which had been lagging since the beginning of COVID. So we're really happy to see that our production has gone back to pre-COVID levels, and we hope to continue that effort. So thank you for your attention. I look forward to working with you all to continue to ensure that RBS is job one. Thank you.
Wow, it's pretty cool to be a leader in charge of these rock stars. So, first of all, I told you I was gonna see if you're awake. All right, so if you are involved in RBS, if you hold, if you're a program visitor, a vessel examiner, an educator, I'm going to ask you right now to stand up, front table included. All right, look around the room. This is why RBS is job one. All right, you can have a seat. Thank you. All right, recreational boating safety will always be key priority for the auxiliary. In 2023, there were 3,844 boating incidents in the United States with 564 boating fatalities, a rate of 4.9 fatalities per 100,000 registered recreational vessels. While this was the largest year-over-year drop in RBS fatalities, it still shows that the work of the auxiliary to educate the boating public remains a top priority. So if you look, I have the slides up on the screen. I mean, while to echo NACO's comments when we first got here, it's the biggest drop, but we still have work to do every day. All right, along with, when you are job one, NACO gives you a lot of work. So we have 24 milestones. Of the 24, we have 7 complete. And along with each of the milestones, we have 71 tasks. 42 of these tasks have been completed, 15 are in progress, 12 are currently on hold, and 12 are awaiting the start. So now going through, and that's overall. So looking at recreational boating safety outreach, they have 2 milestones complete. Out of their 48 tasks, we have 29 tasks complete, 8 in progress, 6 on hold, and 5 are awaiting start. The group has major accomplishments, strengthening of RBS Job 1 with a more professional layout. In addition, publication of boating safety research firmly established auxiliary as experts not only in boating safety, but also in boating safety research. Partnership with West Marine, leading more than 500,000 unique boating safety contacts during National Safe Boating Week. That's a lot of contacts. All right, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later as well. Partnership with American Canoe Association, leading to a strong on-the-water training for auxiliary members and creation of Smart Start safe paddling. And I want everyone in this room to take a look at this program. Smart Start complies with NASBLA and NALS standards and reflects the expertise of ACA instructors and coaches. Smart Start further reflects extensive research into boating accidents and appears to be the only explicit evidence-based boating safety course currently available. So let's talk to Robin and Curtis, anyone up here, and we'll get you more information in reference to that. We put out technical bulletins that describe fatalities, patterns for kayaks and canoes that have been published. We have more information that's going to be coming out on SUPs, open motorboats, pontoon boats, personal watercraft, and cabin motorboats. During National Safe Boating Week, auxiliary members were present at all 219 West Marine stores across the country. I mean, this is unheard of, and couldn't be happier, and we want to grow it. but having this point of sale safety messages are invaluable. Learning that a bulb in a navigation light is burned out, or a fire extinguisher is expired, or a flotation device is damaged in the parking lot, you know, we can stop that from being a problem out in the water, and these people can turn around, go back in the store, and get what they need before they get out in the water. So, I mean, great work. All right, from the vessel safety exam and program visits, they have 2 milestones complete, 16 tasks. Out of the 16 tasks, they are moving ahead forward, doing an amazing job. The vessel examination partner visitation directorate has made good progress during the year on their 7 strategic goals. They have completed communication on wearing a life jacket within 30 feet of the water for our vessel examiners, and will reiterate that during the 2026 VE workshop. They will continue to monitor the efforts to increase the number of VEs. So NACO, you asked for 5%, they gave you 10%. All right, so great work. Now we expect 15% next year. So amazing work to the VE folks, great job. The directorate is on track with 3 other strategic goals with due dates in 2026. The work progressing on the effort to create a DSOVE and DSOPV training for the new season members by April 2026. We will plan to collaborate with our district leadership to ensure they have an opportunity to input in this effort. Our goal is to provide a high-level guidance for DSOs while allowing districts' expectations to be added, specific expectations. So we want to have something that prepares your DSOs when they step into that role. Like, what am I stepping into? I mean, I think all of us would have liked to have some sort of a guide to step into. I don't think there's a Deputy NACO handbook. Is there, Sonny? Is there? No? There you go. Copy that. I just gave myself work. I got to keep my mouth quiet. Right. The directorates are working on developing a grant for boater VSC education. So we're going to look at that for the next cycle. For the E-Directorate, since I'm running out of time, they have 3 milestones complete, 17 tasks. 7 of those tasks are complete, 4 are in progress, 5 on hold, and 1's waiting for a start. They're developing a supplement to the Boater Americas based on material from the boating skills and seamanship. Our efforts are to engage a commercial publisher to produce a Boat America supplement. So develop a marketing guide and toolkit for flotillas to expand their ability to deliver public education. A few of them have already been released. Stand by for more. This year, we'll have produced 3 posters and trifolds downloadable for the website, so your educators can use these, put their information in the Dropbox, and you have something that they can run with. Looks very neat. It's already been approved. Move the annual instructor workshop and instructor development course in the Moodle platform, which will begin late in the second quarter of this year, expected to make the 2026 instructor workshop. So with that being said, I'm gonna step aside, but I do have a challenge for those of you that didn't stand up when I asked what if you were involved in RBS. I need to see you right after this meeting. All right, thank you very much.
Good afternoon. I'm Amanda Constant. I am the Assistant National Commodore for Information Technology, and I'm going to start off just by introducing my team that's here to chat with you today. So first off, my Deputy A-NACO, Joe Espino. Please raise your hand. Okay. And then in the order they'll be presenting to you, the Director of C, which is Computer, Software, and Systems, Carlos Arenas, and his Deputy, Michael Moore. The Director of the User Support and Services Directorate, the U Directorate, Bill Ballard, and his Deputy, Dave Gaylord, and the Director of the Cybersecurity Directorate, or Y, which is Cliff Neve. We'll start off with Carlos, and I'll see you at the end.
Good afternoon, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with you today on behalf of the hardworking team at Computer, Software, and Systems. I'd especially like to recognize my Deputy Director, Michael Moore, whose dedication and expertise has been invaluable to our success. Carrying responsibility for such a significant part of our technological footprint is something we approach with great care. Today, we are pleased to share with you some highlights of our accomplishments since entering. In close collaboration with the T Directorate and leadership, we reinstated the proctoring of OXOP tests in the National Testing Center and restored the passing score of 75%. While this transition has brought some challenges, we continue working hard to make it a success. At the same time, we retooled the transfer station, that is the automation that delivers training results to OXData 2. So it now reflects the updated proctoring process for OXOP tests. The next update is especially exciting. Auxiliaries Walter Barringer from Southwest Southern District has built a brand new version of the popular Rayburn Checker web application completely from scratch. The C Directorate has set up a home for it on our servers, and is now undergoing stability and security testing by Y Directorate. Once online, this tool will provide a very useful resource for all auxiliaries. As part of our effort to modernize and secure our web presence, the National Help Wanted blog, which is managed by the W Directorate, was launched on WordPress multi-site. This robust and widely adopted platform, which powers a significant share of today's websites worldwide, was also implemented to give the U Directorate a reliable and secure way to publish vital performance reports. We have also found some challenges during this period. A recent update to Google's email rules caused some of our outbound messages to be blocked. As a result, several important processes were affected, including WOW forms, 7029 submissions, vessel safety checks, and join/AMS requests. Emerging technologies demand thorough prototyping, careful inspection, and rigorous vetting before they can be safely implemented. This can slow the process, but is necessary given our responsibility as custodians of critical infrastructure. Our careful approach ensures that any new technology we introduce is reliable, secure, and capable of supporting the long-term needs of the organization. Bravo Zulu to the tireless dedication of our incredible staff, from branch assistants to division chiefs. Without them, these achievements would not have been possible. We celebrate and take immense pride in the remarkable C Directorate talent. Thank you for your attention.
Good afternoon. My name is Bill Ballard, and I'm representing the IT User Support and Services Directorate, or the U Directorate. With me this afternoon is my deputy, David Gaylord, And as it says in the directorate name, we're here to support our members at the various information technologies area, whether it's communication services, information services, or whatever services. We're here to support the members and the leadership. If you remember from our virtual N-Train earlier this year, I spoke about the integration of the former M directorate into the U directorate. This is being led by Harry Parsons, who's our division chief. Our Oxdata QC team, working with our new analytics division, has moved a lot of the reports from M directorate in, and they're now live in Oxdata. They were reports that we can do automated instead of manually. They'll be highly used in the coming months. Election eligibility, annual currency requirements, core training status, and all those are now automated and are available in the Quick Stop reports. And we are going to continue to try to automate more of these reports as technology allows us. One of the reports, and it was mentioned yesterday by Commodore Merriman, is the annual valuation report, which gives us the ability to talk about return on investment. $1 in, $9.53 back. And so these reports are invaluable, I think, to our leadership. Our communication system support division continues its performance. Led by John Bigrow, it annually reviews about 1/3 of all the websites. That's 1,100 websites that we know of. They do about 350 websites each year, so basically once every 3 years your website's going to be looked at. The CS division will also be an integral part of the future WOW, which we discussed a little bit yesterday, and I think Amanda's going to talk about it some more. But our upgrade from the WOW setup to whatever we're going to come with, and they will be responsible for the training of all our members in this new system, and they're there to support any of our CS officers. Our information systems division, which is Laurel Carlson, provides training and support for our 782 IS officers, and of course for our members. We've increased the number in the past year of Aux 10 instructors by 75%, and we're now teaching simultaneous virtual classes every quarter, East Coast, West Coast, so we can double up. In the past year, we've also begun holding monthly online seminars. These have been very well received and generally attract 90 to 100 members for each session. Our seminars for the rest of the year are going to cover timely subjects, election eligibility, that keeps coming up, annual currency maintenance reporting, and also quality control for our IS officers. These meetings are open to anybody, not just IS officers. Talk to your DSO ISs to get the schedules, but they're approximately once a month. We initiated a plan to create video Oxdata training within Moodle when we were working with the T directorate on this. And after many, many hours of curriculum development, Oxdata upgraded and all the screens changed. So, best laid plans. The updates are great. They're totally worth it, and I hope everybody's gone into Oxdata and looked at it and seen how easy it is now to get into to do a new activity log or look at your records. But it did force us to take our 650-page slide deck for Aux 10, totally rewrite it because everything had changed. And we realized that these video vignettes that we had done within Moodle were totally invalid. We had to redo them. Looking at that, we realized maybe this is not the best way to do it. So now we have David Gaylord is researching some currently available but also untapped capabilities within Salesforce to provide the same training. The Salesforce in-app guidance and the implementation of an Oxdata knowledge base acceptable via the global search function, Techie Talk, will hopefully be able to provide an AI-based assistance to the member while they're in Oxdata, and it says, oh, here's how you do this, you know. And so we're hoping that's going to work. That'll be sometime next year, we hope. Our final concern is the National Help Desk. It's already been mentioned once. Kayako constitutes 90% of the U Directorate budget. Our branch chief, Commodore Davies, and Cleland Johnson, the division chief, they handle about 250 tickets a month. And unfortunately, if you do the math, which I did yesterday, that comes out, we are spending about $4.80 per help desk tickets. Not good. So we're changing it. We're going to a different one. We'll talk about more about later. But anyway, we've made the decision. It's going to happen, but it should be seamless for our members. So this should be an up thing for everybody. And in summary, we're here to help you. We are the IT user support group. We're here to help our members and our leaders with any kind of support they need. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Cliff Neve. I'm director of Y Directorate, which is the Cybersecurity Directorate. And we're still fairly new, but we've made amazing progress. Mike Flieger stepped down as my deputy for personal reasons. He has some things going on, but I want to thank Mike for all of his help in getting us to where we are. The first highlight that I want to discuss is the fact that the Coast Guard dropped the final rule on cybersecurity in the marine transportation system on July 16th of this year. It was a landmark act that will require thousands of maritime transportation system partners, outer continental shelf flag vessels, and ports and port partners to be compliant with Coast Guard rules and regulations. The Coast Guard has 37 sectors and exactly one cybersecurity person at each sector. So we have placed thus far 13 auxiliary cyber augmentees to 12 different sectors with the objective of pairing up auxiliary cyber expertise at every sector by the end of the year. And Gary Kessler and Scott Costibra, who are the division chiefs and branch chief respectively, have done an amazing job of identifying the right people, and the feedback from the sectors is send more. So that's what you like to hear. Second, the Coast Guard and the Area Maritime Security Committees love exercises. They exercise resilience in those port partners and in those locations that are critical to our infrastructure and our way of life. And so we've been involved in several cybersecurity exercises, one at the Port of Georgia, the other at Savannah, and we're scheduled to participate in the Great Lakes District's exercise this coming September for their cyberkinetic exercise. The final highlight is that we've matured cybersecurity internally through an asset inventory. And Jim Cummings has led that effort. And we've also been doing some phishing awareness training, which some of you may have already been aware of. And if not, you might be. So we're working on that. I'm happy to announce that that was an opportunity at the last N-Train. So it's always nice to be able to convert opportunities into highlights. As far as opportunities go, while we've gained a lot of traction at the sectors, we're still working hard with Coast Guard Cyber Command to get some traction there. Admiral Tama, who's the commander of Coast Guard Cyber Command, has committed to bringing us on and expressed a need under Force Design 28. And we also look to put an AUC at Coast Guard Cyber Command to make sure that we're supporting them appropriately. The final opportunity is to increase user awareness for protecting both the auxiliary and personal systems using auxiliary resources. Most of us have AuxNet accounts. Most people outside of this room, or many people, do not. They use their personal accounts. And so we're looking at ramping up security awareness education and home hygiene education as part of National Cybersecurity Awareness Month in October. Thank you very much for your attention.
Good afternoon again. The information tech, I'm still Amanda Constant, ANACO IT. So just do that all. And good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, shipmates. The Information Technology Group is proud to support the National Commodore Strategic Plan, both directly and indirectly, through ancillary support of other National Directorate Strategic Plan objectives. Before I review our progress, though, I'd like to thank my deputy ANACO, my 3 directors and their deputies, and their teams for their continued dedication to delivering at the highest standards in their performance of duty. Within the National Commodore Strategic Plan, the IT group is directly aligned to 2 of the 2024-2026 strategic priorities. The first that I'll cover is Strategic Priority 3, which involves integrating auxiliary resources into Coast Guard units and missions by structuring our programs to anticipate the needs of Coast Guard units at every level and stand prepared to meet those needs when they arise. You just heard a little bit about that from Director Cliff. The Cybersecurity Directorate has 2 initiatives supporting this goal, focusing on augmentation and field exercises. These, as you just heard, fall within their mission. So to enhance our ability to support the active duty, they've updated the CG Cyber instruction for OcCyber programs to optimize OcCyber onboarding process, allowing us to bring qualified candidates on board more quickly and serve the needs of the active duty units. The draft updated instruction is complete, and the team is working with CG Cyber to coordinate the review and concurrence process. The idea here is we're working to formalize what is actually, as Cliff reported, already going on, but we want to formalize the program and be more efficient and actually extend our reach through that. The directorate, as I said, is currently providing ad hoc cybersecurity support to the sectors upon request, and we are receiving these requests weekly. The demand signal is high, and we stand prepared to meet that. To support of that, we're developing a new OcCyber advisor program and have drafted a standard operating procedure for the program, which is also under review with CG Cyber for review and concurrence. This program is aligned to the maritime transportation system in the cyber domain. With the recently published maritime cyber rules and the limited Coast Guard personnel that Cliff pointed out, the sectors are continuously, as I mentioned, seeking assistance from the auxiliary to augment their existing personnel. The team has a strategic goal to have met 33% of those, and we're actually at 38% of target, identifying auxiliarists to be able to support these units. They'll be formally assigned once the SOP is approved. And this, the 38% is actually an increase from the 22% that I reported at NTRAIN 2025. Upon approval, the OcCyber Advisor Program SOP, these identified qualified members will be actually employed in their respective sectors. As Cliff mentioned, the Y Directorate has the exercise support branch that assists active duty-led cybersecurity training exercises as requested, and they are actively doing that. We want to actually develop an auxiliary managed cybersecurity exercise program designed to provide a repeatable exercise framework to scale this training to all sectors. And this initiative, unfortunately, is behind schedule. The team is participating now in some active duty coordinated exercises and using those opportunities to gain additional insight for building the auxiliary exercise program. Once completed, our goal is to actually execute an auxiliary managed cybersecurity exercise in at least one sector on behalf of the Coast Guard, and we'll scale from there, absolutely. The fourth strategic priority in the Commodore's plan focuses on innovation to ensure we remain ready and prepared for the future. This involves investing in our infrastructure, training, and member support, looking beyond how it's always been done and learning from our past while focusing on the needs of the future. As I reported at NTRAIN, we believe our active duty shipmates who are departing the Coast Guard provide an opportunity for us to recruit highly trained cybersecurity personnel into the auxiliary cybersecurity augmentation programs, and we have been successful in this area. However, the Coast Guard is currently adapting to a great deal of change, which has temporarily reduced the demand signal for this work, for this augmentation program. Consequently, the strategic plan initiative to contact the Personal Services Center to initiate a partnership to advertise the auxiliary and OcCyber to members departing the Coast Guard is on hold. Similarly, our plan to draft an article for submission to the Long Blue Line, the Coast Guard retiree newsletter, is also on hold. But we're looking to gain access to those Coast Guard members who are departing the service and give them an opportunity to continue serving with their specific skills and so forth. And I would encourage all of you, the other directorates, to think about, this is what we're focused on cybersecurity right now in augmentation. We do a lot of augmentation here. And so think about how you might be able to also tap those resources. And we can work with you to maybe create a coordinated program when we reach out to the recruiting stations and publish articles. So we do it once for the entire auxiliary augmentation. In the area of the maritime transportation system, the team is developing a qualification standard, or PQS, for an auxiliary assistant facility inspector with a cyber qualification. The draft is undergoing a rewrite to incorporate the Coast Guard's recent final rule on maritime cyber. The team will develop mentorship workbooks to assist OCCyber members to prepare for and qualify as auxiliary facility cyber document examiners or auxiliary assistant facility inspectors cyber once the PQS is approved. That was a mouthful. As Commodore Merriman mentioned in her remarks, the Web Infrastructure Replacement Project is a primary focus of the IT group. The Computer Software and Systems Directorate carries the strategic plan goals for this project right now, but this is a full IT group initiative dependent upon the critical contributions from all three directorates. The first step we identified is to perform a review and cleanup of our existing landscape. All sites created prior to the Websites Without Webmasters or WOW web platform have been identified, broken into 3 groups based on the complexity of standing down or transitioning those sites to WOW. The first 2 groups have been completed. Those were the easy and medium efforts. And we are now on track for the final group of more complex sites. We're on track to deliver that and complete those transitions by October 31st of this year. This is a joint effort with contributions from both the C and U directorates. In parallel with this work, the IT group has been actively working on the phased project plan to replace the legacy WOW platform with a secure, scalable, and modern infrastructure that empowers the distributed units of the auxiliary to build and manage member sites, emphasizing modularity, low-code or no-code tools, and alignment with the contemporary security and accessibility standards. The internal name for the project is Modernize Our Member Sites. While the strategic initiatives are assigned to the C Directorate, it's important to know that this is an IT group-wide initiative. As I said, the U Directorate and the Y Directorate teams work alongside the C Directorate in their areas of expertise. The functional requirements phase is complete with the requirements document prepared by a cross-directorate team, along with insights captured from the DCCSs at NACON 24 have been reviewed by NEXCOM actually just this week. The technical review phase is underway where the team is working to identify 3 to 5 viable commercial platforms, preferably with, as I said, no cost or low cost options, providing the capabilities necessary to support the identified requirements with a target completion of October 31st of this year. All candidate platforms will be vetted by the cybersecurity team, and the final selected platform with the concurrence of NEXCOM will be contracted, licensed, or purchased through the Auxiliary Association. In the spirit of Semper Gumby, I'm introducing a member experience requirements assessment into the project. We'll be putting that into the adjusted strategic plan. And that will run in parallel with the technical review phase. Will be led by Bill Ballard, in addition, this addition was actually inspired through feedback we gathered during the NEXCOM review this week. And one of our DNACOs who provided some compelling input has been invited to join the working group. Following the completion of this assessment and the selection of the foundation platform, the design and design review phases will proceed, followed by framework implementation, testing, development of new training materials and programs, and actually finally then the migration of the existing websites into the new platform. Beyond these key strategic initiatives, the IT group stands ready to support the auxiliary and our active duty shipmates. Once again, I'd like to personally thank my deputy ANACO, my directors, their deputies, and their teams for their full staff. Thank you to my exceptional team and all that you do.
All right, at this time, we're going to take a 10-minute break, and then we'll come back and get started on the next group.
Who's better than you?
Hey Pat, do you have a .mil account?
Yes.
How'd you get it? Just because your device? .mil account. do you log on to it though? Do you have a neat token?
Or at least can I get one for a temporary time so I can send invitations? I don't know how that works.
Well, you should be able to have one as the EA for the NACO. How much are those? You guys don't pay for them, do you? Go talk to Steve. Tell Steve to give you one.
Remember the Opcom integration award?
Yeah.
I was on a panel that was supposed to do that, and Kelly couldn't send me anything. Right? So she is.
We're going to get started in about 1 more minute. Hey, Alex. All right, please take your seats. We're going to get started.
I think next year I'm going to do something physical. That's why I for half an hour. I think we'll do counsel out here. It's cold. Hey, we had it. They to us when we were I'm not kidding. Both days there was a medical staff that was 18. I'm like, for the first day, I was the oldest one. The next, he's like 5 years older than me. The next day, he was the oldest one, but he's older than all the adults. Yeah.
Another woman telling me what to do. This is my wife.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get more hard candy out of my office.
All right, we're going to get started. For those that are not
No argument from me.
sitting. All right. We are going to introduce the next group.
Good afternoon. My name is Rick Saunders. I'm the Assistant National Commodore for the Response and Prevention Group. Could not get near what I do accomplish without the able assistance of my deputy, Anthony Morzano, as well as significantly the directors that we're going to introduce and their teams. So starting off on the international side, our Director of International, Sven Dobler, not here, had some personal commitments he had to take care of, but represented by Raphael Chabate. And then in the prevention area, the director is Kim Cole, and ably assisted by Michael Mitchell. Raise your hand, Michael. On the response area, the director is Larry Fletcher, and his deputy, Drew Wilkins, I'm sorry. Emergency management and disaster response, William Hanlon. He's assisted, his deputy had to leave a little while ago. So he's ably assisted by Eric. All right, with that, I'll turn it over to the group.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Raphael Chabata. I'm Deputy Director for International Affairs. Unfortunately, our director, Sven Dobler, was not able to make this conference. I just want to begin to thank our division chiefs and branch chiefs in international affairs. They have done a wonderful job, and to do our accomplishments that you can see on the screen right here. So the good news is that interpreter deployments are increasing. So in particular, with the support of our districts, especially Coast Guard districts. So this it's an excellent news. And more auxiliary districts are also working with international affairs to staff and manage their interpreters. We have about 500 plus interpreters in the interpreter corps. 56 languages are represented, and we are looking for specialty languages that are being requested by the different sectors. So we work with the CG units, with districts and sectors, and we've been providing all these interpreters. It's worth mentioning that we have about 100 plus interpreters. I think it's 120, 114, 115 interpreters that are available 24/7 for any deployment. And we have communicated a telephone number that rings now to our division chief for deployments. He's available 24/7. So if there is a Coast Guard unit that requires an interpreter, we are available 24/7. So it's a great accomplishment for those individuals that have stepped up, and there is a number that is in Microsoft Teams, so all the units are able to call that number. That rings at David Cabral, who's our division chief for deployments, and we get the interpreter ready within hours. Our international outreach has been very active, holding forums with Australia, with our partners in the Philippines. We have been also doing OXLAM classes with them, with Australia, with the Philippines, and with Canada. Our division chiefs are very active on that, and our branch chiefs as well. And we are including those partners now in OXLAM classes that they are tailored to them based on our OXLAMs. We have a strong international presence with our roundtable meetings, and you will see today the delegation from the Philippines, and for the first time we have a delegate from Mauritania that is going to attend our luncheon that is tomorrow with Director Havestik as well. And you'll see them tonight. There's a reception that it's going to be out there. And we also, we have staffed our area command liaison, which is combatant command, and we have individuals that have experience, that they have been already in command comms, and they're really, and it's really an augmentation that we're doing. It's a liaison, and we are contacting, we are providing assistance and information. That's for Southcom, CENTCOM, INDOPACOM, and EUCOM. Now, we have challenges. Try to turn those into opportunities. So we have 30 seconds to say that we have shortness in interpreter resources, especially in targeted languages, especially the ones that they are newly required, and longer in-person deployments, like 30 days, 40 days, 2 months, whatever is needed, and obtaining subject matter experts in some of those requests. And we are implementing some targeted recruiting milestones, and we're doing very well. Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon. Semper Paratus.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kim Cole. I am the Director of Prevention, and I'd like to introduce my Deputy Director, Michael Mitchell, who's accompanying me. For those of you who do not know what prevention does, our main mission is to develop and provide training to the auxiliary for missions within the marine safety and navigation systems of the active duty sectors guidelines. Work within these particular missions provide direct support to the active duties in areas such as commercial vessels, ports and facilities, prevention outreach, navigation systems, and we have a communication and education area as well. Now, as you see, we have a few items that we wanted to bring to your attention that we have been working on. These are some major tasks that we have been working on. First one is, for many of you who have heard of it, is AUX Prevention Outreach Performance Qualification, or otherwise known as AUX-MES. Now, this particular qualification, we have determined it was outdated and we wanted to work on it. We had started out thinking that we would update it, but in looking at it, we found that we needed to do a complete rewrite of it. So we are now in progress of rewriting this, rewriting the workbook, the study guides, and also hopefully in the end putting something on Moodle, such as what we did with MSAM. The AUX 06 C-School that we have for ATON verifying bridges and chart updating, the 2025 class went very well. We had 17 graduates from that. This was our part of the strategic plan, and we have completed that item that we needed in there. We have done changes to the AUX 06 in which you need to be able to come to the class, which would include 3 different levels of how the students are chose. The first one would be NS officers who hold the PQS qualification for ATON verifying. The second would be any auxiliaries that has the PQS for navigation systems. And the third being it can be an auxiliary who does not hold the qualification yet, but they do need to be actively working on that particular qualification. They would have to have sign-offs for everything except for the practicals done. In these changes, we also will have you, in completing that course, you receive 1 point towards AUX Up. If you do not have the qualification yet when you complete the course, you will have 1 year in order to be able to finish the PQS, receive your qualification, and then you will receive the 1 point towards AUX Up as well. The other part of our strategic plan item on that was the updating of the curriculum. We want to be able to provide a higher standard of training to our people that are going to be coming to this training so that they can take it back to your districts. For those who have been interested and have asked, our newsletter is now published. It is online. Our publisher, Dottie Riley, unfortunately had suffered an accident, but she is recovering nicely now for anyone who wants to reach out to her. And she is actively looking for articles from anyone who would like to submit one. Last item that we have is we have now developed a PowerPoint overview of the marine safety, what a marine safety officer needs to do. This overview is actually located on our website at this time, and it will give anyone that is interested in becoming a marine safety officer a good overview of what they need to do, what tools are available to them, and how they can be able to achieve their goal and able to do this office correctly. We also have individual offices, the FSO, the SO, the ADSO, and DSO. We're having separate PowerPoints that we have developed and we are reviewing now that we will be releasing soon to help these officers be able to do that job as well. First question we usually get from any new, could be FSO on up, is they're not sure where to go for the materials they need, what tools are available to them, or what they need to be able to do the job correctly. These PowerPoints help to eliminate that question and will help guide them on their ways. I just can't suggest enough that you have your people take a look at this, at least the overview right now. And hopefully within the next month or 2 at the most, we will have the individual ones also available. Our goals, you see, we are hoping to be able to get the final approvals for the 3 workbooks we've been waiting on. The uninspected passenger vessel workbook, the pollution responder workbook, and we also have one for container inspector. A lot of people do not realize those are actually owned by the departments of the Coast Guard, so we have to work with them in order to get the correct updating and policies that we need in those workbooks. Those books are with each specific department, and hopefully we will see approved versions of them very soon. And that is it.
Good afternoon. Bill Hanlon, Q Directorate. Q has been tasked with developing and implementing some interagency assistance program with FEMA. In short order, Q was in coordination with BSX and Coast Guard OEM, Office of Emergency Management, stood up a fully functional geospatial damage assessment team. Over 300 members from across the nation were 300 members expressed an interest in participating in this first of its kind mission critical no fail tasking. Training for the auxiliary members on satellite identification skills testing began in the spring. The goal was to be ready for the 2025 hurricane season. However, that's not the nature of emergency management. While we were still in the preliminary evaluation and training mode, the team was immediately pressed into service. In May, following the devastating tornadoes in the Midwest, a call came in from FEMA for us to virtually deploy and analyze satellite and open source images of the destruction. Shortly thereafter, we received yet another call from FEMA and request in response to the tragic and deadly flooding along the riverbanks in Texas and New Mexico. Between those two events, approximately 75 auxiliaries from across the country, they had volunteered and they evaluated over 800 structures, recorded over 900 hours of computer work effort, which resulted in a rapid production of factual data and supporting imagery to justify 2 federal disaster declarations for financial assistance to those impacted areas. For just those 2 events, FEMA estimated that the cost savings for taxpayers was over $40,000. FEMA officials commended the outstanding efforts of the auxiliary members and advised that that praise had reached the level of the Secretary of Homeland Security. It quickly became apparent to me that we also needed to take care of our own and the psychological needs. There was a lot of devastating photographs that they were dealing with and sifting through hours and hours of catastrophic images in those communities. So I reached out to our chaplain support in the G Directorate, and in response, Rabbi Kapoff quickly assembled a team, an on-call cadre of professionals to staff and support our members as may be needed. So they now, too, are part of the newly formed FEMA Geospatial Damage Assessment Team. On to another topic. The Auxiliary Contingency Support Plan, or ACSP, is a comprehensive single-source reference document outlining recommended emergency management responses in all 16 auxiliary districts. The ACSP is currently in draft form, and it's being reviewed during this 2-day training session here in Dallas. Now, by October, I'm hoping that the DSOEMs have had an opportunity to share the proposals with you Commodores and your senior staff, and then get feedback back to me so that I can submit a finalized version to NEXCOM for final approval and implementation. The ACSP addresses auxiliary member welfare, accountability, Everbridge notification systems, and their messaging issues. It also supplies or provides suggested templates for the districts to enable timely tracking of available resources and personnel if they are needed following a major event. Some of the suggested best practices in the ACSP for others to consider came from some terrific and proactive efforts already produced by some of your DSOEMs, specifically Coast Guard District Southeast, Coast Guard District Oceania, and Heartland Western Rivers. They are already at the top of the list producing terrific products for us to incorporate into that document. The Q website enhancements are ongoing, emphasizing member emergency management career development. And we have a centralized website for all of the auxiliary contingency support, PQSs and job aids. Now, some opportunities. The Q has established a cadre of subject matter experts, training personnel to support you, the district commodores, and your district staff officers. The team is designed to address multiple issues, concerns that have been raised over the years. And I've had many opportunities to chat with many of the commodores. And the two main areas of concern are instructors and exercises for your emergency management plan. Now, with approval, when fully operational, if requested, the team will work with the auxiliary district personnel to assist in your needed ICS training and IMT position-specific classes. Also, the cadre will be available to develop functional exercises to test established emergency management procedures to hone those skill sets related to Everbridge notifications, member welfare, resource tracking, and emergency management related events. That's the Q report. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Larry Fletcher with the Response Directorate, and with me is our Deputy Director, Drew Wilkins. The Auxiliary Operations Policy Guide for Telecommunications has recently been updated and is available on the BSX website. This is an excellent guide for anyone involved in the telecommunications program. I'd like to encourage all of those members to download it and read it and use it. The Rescue and Survival Systems initiative that was approved by this board back in the spring has been rolled out. The OTOs have provided training to district operations officers and the newly appointed Rescue Survival System officers. Our Unmanned Aircraft Systems program, also known as drones, is up and running. It's an exciting new program for auxiliaries. Provides the opportunity to get the active duty short-range remote pilot qualification to fly, pilot, Coast Guard drones, and typically is done under the orders of a sector or a station. And we now have the ability for those remote pilots to report their mission hours back into aux data. In terms of work in process, Air Operations is evaluating a Bluetooth Marine Band VHF radio that, once approved, will enable Marine Band communications from the aircraft without the need of hardwiring a conventional, typical boat radio into the aircraft or the use of interface boxes. It will provide a more elegant solution for the aircraft facility owner. And then finally, our Air Operations Division is working with the Coast Guard Aviation Association, BSX, and CG 711 to identify candidates for the annual Auxiliary Aviator of the Year Award. This will be the fourth year that CGAA has made this award, and it's typically done at their annual roost. The next one will be in Houston the end of next April. And that's the end of our report. Thank you.
Good afternoon again. The Response and Prevention Group had 10 milestones, 4 completed, and 6 currently are in process. Rather than the statistical analysis, I'm trying to give you some insight on what those projects are and where we stand and the benefits of them. The first one on international affairs was to identify Coast Guard's top language translation needs from auxiliary interpreter corps. It is complete. So starting with the list of languages identified on all coasts, the team augmented this with experience over the last 3 years on the types of requests they've gotten from the active duty. The top need languages are Chinese Mandarin, Russian, American Sign Language, a new one for us, Haitian Creole, Tagalog, Japanese, Vietnamese, Ukrainian, Indonesian, and Malay. So not really part of the strategic goal, but I just wanted to provide a bit of information. In September of 25, the Coast Guard issued a language action plan. I want to read you something from it. One of the Coast Guard critical assets towards fulfilling its mission to serve individuals who are, as a Coast Guard acronym, LEP, which stands for Limited English Proficiency, is its use of the U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary Interpreter Corps. which is over 348 volunteer interpreters, offering interpretation services 52 languages, and has provided over 76,827 hours of interpretation to date. Really, the function of that is the Coast Guard has identified the need and sees the auxiliary as a significant asset in providing that need. And the job of the international team is to provide that service. Their second milestone was to develop strategies for targeting and recruiting existing new members and existing members in language areas of need. It was really 3 tasks. The first was to develop a plan. Complete, and an excellent job was done on it. Excuse me. The next 2 are really very similar. Working with Forcecom, implement a targeted recruiting strategy for both new members and existing members to get involved in interpreter missions. Working with Forcecom has begun, quite honestly, taking a little bit longer than the team anticipated. Progress is being made. We appreciate the support. They will be done and accomplished. Their last milestone was in cooperation with BSX. Coast Guard offices identify and implement requirements for rapid deployment of interpreter corps personnel. In progress, really is 2 elements. The first was, in collaboration with BSX, identify a process that in essence can provide readily access for the active duty if they need an interpreter service. So an all coast went out, 328-25, that really announced this program, provided a email as well as a 24/7 staff support line. If the Coast Guard is in need of an emergency interpreter, it comes in. We have the capability, as Raphael mentioned, to quickly respond to that activity with an appropriate interpreter. Emergency management had several tasks. First was develop and implement innovative strategies to enhance support provided to DSOEMs and ASCs to assist them in their responsibilities, something that Bill had mentioned. It is being shared with the DSOEMs this week, being finalized, then will be published. And as Bill mentioned, its purpose is to provide a resource to the districts, to the DSOEMs and the ASCs, that they can use to build and enhance their program for emergency management. The second was, in collaboration with the DSOEMs and CGOEM, again, Coast Guard Office of Emergency Management, identify and implement Coast Guard district sector emergency management needs. It's in progress. These efforts are ongoing and part of the focus of the DSOEM meetings this week, where Captain Cars, who's the head of Coast Guard CGOEM, is having the opportunity, as already discussed, his vision, and to have dialogues with our emergency management team. And this will hopefully lead to a stronger relationship, a shared vision, better alignment of auxiliary resources in support of emergency management. Team also identify auxiliary strategic leadership critical information requirements for situational awareness during major emergencies. In progress. Unfortunately past due, but being worked on. Again, this is part of this week's effort. Focus on exercises that build, refine, maintain situational awareness process across the auxiliary to focus with intense focus on the welfare of auxiliary members, enabling provision of support to them in times of emergency. The last one, in cooperation with CGOEM, identify opportunities to identify, recruit, and integrate auxiliary members with relevant emergency management instructors, not only for the Coast Guard, or not only for the auxiliary, but also because it's a need that CGOEM has for the active duty for the reservists. So we can have people trained as auxiliarists to be working to train reservists and active duty where needed. So it's a need, the groundwork is being laid to expand the emergency management training capabilities. Additional work is required before the plan's rolled out, but it's headed in that direction. In the response area, Larry had mentioned it. The team worked to implement the RSS teams, develop the program in conjunction with the other paddlecraft marine safety personnel that have to be exposed to risk on the water. So the program is being rolled out. It's being managed by the districts in conjunction with the OTOs. The program provides management and inspection of PPE equipment used by surface operations, paddlecraft, vessel examiners, marine safety personnel. Similar program is being worked within the air arena. I believe most areas have already appointed their RS officers, both for the division as well as the flotillas. It's a learning process. Some of our members will resist the activity. It's an important activity and we'll ask for everybody's support, making sure this program is successful. Last one in the prevention area. Develop, submit, and implement recommendations to update navigation systems 06 school complete. Kim mentioned many of the elements for this. So the school was really refocused, if you will. And as Kim mentioned, the primary goal is to provide a team of leaders and motivational people to help train people, motivate people, get them interested in the marine safety arena. As Kim has mentioned, has not been released yet, but in process of changing a little bit of the requirements to attend that school. The highest priority being done for somebody who has the Marine or the aid verifier qualification and is a leader at some level, a flotilla, a division, a district, doesn't matter, would receive the first priority to attend the class. Second group would people who are aid verifiers currently, but aren't a leadership at the current time. Third group, if the space allots, would be people who are not AV qualified. A couple of the changes, though, they will have had to complete all of the, let's call them shoreside activities, not the actual practical side of it, so we know there's a focus on it. In addition, because this course receives an OCSOP point, those members who don't have the AV PQS will have to get that within a year of completion of the OCSI school to get that point. Because we're really trying to motivate people to not take the course, but take the course, get involved, and aid us in the aid verification program. That's it. I thank you for your time.
Am I in trouble again?
No, he was just taking that opportunity.
Well, last time I spoke from this podium, it didn't go well.
That's right. Good luck.
Thank you. Good afternoon, all. I'm Commodore Bob Schaefer. I'm the Chief Safety Officer. And you may recall that a few years ago, the Auxiliary Strategic Plan included a new objective to, quote, embrace an enhanced safety culture auxiliary-wide. And this is critical for the auxiliary because, after all, if we're not safe, we cannot be effective. And if we're not effective, we cannot be relevant. So we all want safety, but safety doesn't just happen. Organizations such as ours have to take certain steps to maintain safety. Among other things, we need to implement safety management plans to ensure that we have appropriate safety policies and that we apply appropriate risk management techniques, and we assess the effectiveness of our efforts, and that we promote and train and educate our members about safety. And that's what the Auxiliary Safety Program is all about, helping our members improve readiness and availability through mishap reduction. And we're doing that by making sure that the components of a safety management system are in place. We're working to weave safety into the fabric of auxiliary culture. Well, what's culture? Well, culture can be defined as the shared customs, beliefs, and traits of a group of people, including their values and traditions. In other words, it's the way we do things around here for any particular group. Well, an important part of our culture is the body of written documents, and we have many of those, that describe just about every aspect of our organization.
And this year, our National Commodore took an important step to memorialize safety as part of auxiliary culture. For the first time, we have an auxiliary national safety policy statement. And this document reminds us of the need to be safe, clearly states what we're going to do to maintain safe environments for our members, and it sets expectations for auxiliary leaders and includes this very powerful statement that reaches right down to the deck plate. And if you don't pay any attention to anything else I say, please pay attention to this. Every member of every unit, regardless of position or office, is empowered to identify safety hazards and halt unsafe operations, because it's clear that safety is everyone's responsibility. This is a very important and very clear statement from our NACO, that statement that safety is a priority for the auxiliary. The safety policy statement also describes the establishment of the Auxiliary National Safety Board, outlining its purpose and structure and organization. And all these documents have been posted on the safety page of the national website at the Safety Board tab, and you're encouraged to review them and the other material that's there as well. So having a written national safety policy statement lays the course for our safety culture, and I want to thank the NACO for her leadership on this. This is a vital aspect of making safety an integral part of auxiliary culture. And since then, my colleagues on the Auxiliary National Safety Board, which include Commodore David Elliott, Commodore John Hume, Commodore Susan Thurlow, and Commodore Dale Fajardo, have been getting to work on issues related to safety policy, safety risk management, safety promotion, and safety assurance, the 4 pillars of a safety management system. So for safety to be part of our culture, part of the way we do things around here, we must reach and teach and inspire our members. And to help with that, each district commodore has now appointed a district safety specialist to promote safety within the district. And collectively, all of these people form the District Safety Specialists Council, which is envisioned to be a forum for collaboration and the sharing of best practices among the districts and the National Safety Board. We've already held some DSS Council meetings. In fact, we have another one coming up next week, and some good things have already come from the DSS Council. One of those is the model pre-meeting checklist that all units are encouraged to use prior to the meetings. You'll recall that prior to our meetings in this room, you heard a reminder about the exits and AEDs and other safety-related information. That's a great example of an idea that was generated at the deck plate, being shared by the districts and becoming part of our culture, part of the way we do things around here. Some additional products that originated from the DSSC include an active shooter response guide, a heat stress avoidance guide, and a very good presentation called 101 Critical Days of Summer, aimed at keeping us mindful of the summertime safety risks that we all face both on and off duty. And all of those products are available to members on the safety website in the member zone. Well, there's also a saying that you can't manage what you don't measure. And part of safety management is measurement and evaluation of our safety efforts. Accordingly, we'll be launching the 2025 Auxiliary Safety Climate Survey in the coming weeks. We're going to ask for your help in keeping us, our members, mindful of this and to encouraging our members to take the survey, because we want to know what they think. We anticipate the feedback provided by the Safety Climate Survey will be a very useful indication of where to direct our efforts. Now, we know, in part from the last survey, that we need to do more to educate our members about safety, especially mishap and near mishap reporting. And we know that those are currently underreported. We're working through the district safety specialists to improve such reporting so that we can collect the lessons learned. You know, we've all heard stories about patrols or events where things went very wrong, sometimes dangerously wrong, but at the end, nothing is said. Nobody reports anything because they're afraid of getting in trouble. Well, that's the culture we're working to change. We have to develop a climate of trust that encourages members to report mishaps and hazards and near mishaps without fear of negative consequences. We need to grow a just culture throughout our organization, an attitude of learning from our mistakes and striving for constant improvement. This is the basis of a true safety culture where each of us embrace safety as a personal value. I want to thank my fellow safety board members and the district safety specialists for their work, and I want to thank those members who have worked with their DSSs to improve safety by developing the materials posted on our website that I mentioned earlier. I also want to thank the district commodores for appointing district safety specialists, thereby setting the tone for safety in their respective districts. And I want to thank VNACO and NACO for leading the way, for reminding us that safety is not a spectator sport. Rather, as the document says, safety is everyone's responsibility. Safety, always. Thank you for your kind attention.
Good afternoon. I'd like to take this time to introduce my director, Sean Peoples, and my deputy director, Neil Slauson, who are in charge of the Administrative Investigations Directorate. And also I have Miguel Ravini and Douglas Woolworth, who is the director and deputy director for the Document Administrative Directorate.
Good afternoon. My name is Sean Peoples. I'm the director of the O Directorate, Administrative Investigations, and I'm joined today by my deputy director, Neil Slauson. Much of our success in this directorate is directly attributable to Neil's tireless efforts, and I'm very grateful to him. Thank you. We have created an Investigations 101 course for flotilla commanders. We've held 10 sessions across all the districts via Zoom. We've also created a training presentation held for the upper level officers corps classes, as well as posting templates that can be used as resources for investigations across all levels, the flotilla, division, and district level. Those templates have been vetted by the Chief Legal Counsel and are consistent with Chapter 3 of the Auxiliary Manual. We have successfully completed all of the investigations that we have accepted and have submitted reports for. We continue to hold monthly training sessions on topics that are germane to the investigative process and maintaining uniformity of reporting requirements. Uniformity not only with Chapter 3 of the Auxiliary Manual, but also consistent with Coast Guard reporting requirements. We have a fully staffed directorate, and we have included enhanced staffed instructors, including, and I'm proud to have added him, David Obudzinski from Connecticut, who for 7 years was an instructor at the Academy for the Auxiliary. And we continue our collaboration with Chief Legal Counsel on all matters that require his input and his guidance. With respect to challenges for our new directorate, allocating proper resources for timely completion of assigned investigations. We are a fairly new directorate, and therefore our org chart is fairly flat. And so to avoid any conflicts, we have to assign investigators to outside of the districts, and sometimes that's a challenge. And we continue to seek qualified members to join our directorate. From a personal standpoint, I began my career with NCIS, and after basic training was stationed at the Naval Amphibious Base Little Creek. Fast forward 40 years after a career in the law and as a judge in Connecticut, I come full circle in an investigative role for a new directorate and I'm proud of the staff that we have created. Professional law enforcement attorneys, law school professor, forensic accountants, former prosecuting attorneys. We're very proud of that staff. I'm honored to be here today, and I'm honored to serve this directorate. That ends my report. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Miguel Minervini, and I am the director of the Document and Administrative Directorate, known as W. With me today is my trusted Deputy Director, Doug Wilworth, who is more than likely a better public speaker than myself. Both of us are here today to just bring light to some of our key successes and challenges for this national term. The first success, we talk about the effective all-hands and outreach initiative that was taken care of during this period. Multiple all-hands meetings for our Secretary of Records and Materials officers were successfully live-streamed, reaching both district officers and deck plate members. These sessions allowed for direct Q&A, improved transparency, and boosted engagement with several videos exceeding 500 views. These meetings were enhanced by the presence of our senior leadership, namely NACO and VNACO, who were able to reinforce support for our directorate initiatives. Just for some of you that don't know, our directorate proudly represents all of the Secretary of Records officers and material officers within the auxiliary, in addition to providing national staff support to all of our directorates and senior level management. We are a brand new directorate along with the Administrative Investigations and 2 other directorates, but we're proud to move forward with the staff that we have and have proudly served with the experience of our staff members with our get-go to get the initiatives brought forward and provide whatever assistance we can to the auxiliary. One of our other successes has been the improved national staff processing and documentation systems. We streamlined the review and approval of our national staff spreadsheets, thereby reducing errors before any chain of leadership management submissions by all of the directors. In addition, we had a large-scale issuance of national appointment certificates and letters, which included 560 appointment certificates, 331 BQ certificates, and 583 appreciation certificates, all completed efficiently, along with the successful processing of over 100 NACO awards thus far. Lastly, all 7028 Joint Auxiliary and Boy Scouts of America youth consent forms were successfully digitized and archived into the document and management system platform known as DMS, providing secure and accessible storage documentation. One of our other successes was the strengthened communication tools and training resources, the launch of our improved materials newsletter known as Materials Bell, and expansion of direct email outreach to DSO, SO, and FSO levels increased visibility and responsiveness. Updated training materials such as PowerPoint presentations, website resources, and how-to guides have addressed form procedures, DMS uploads, and SR processes. Beta testing for revisions to the 7000 form and M3 meeting minutes moment training series have shown promising innovations. We can't have successes without some key challenges. So one of our challenges has been the communication gaps between district and deck plate levels. Despite strong all-hands meetings, consistent message delivery to flotilla level members remains a challenge. In one example, DSO communication delays have led our materials branch officers to establish direct outreach measures indicating system gaps within the information pipeline. Lastly, designation of deck plate SR and MA roles. There are many flotillas that still do not have SR and MA appointed staff members assigned, considering it's a requirement. So this is a grave matter that needs to be addressed by our elected officials. In conclusion, I want to thank my devoted and tireless staff of division chiefs, branch chiefs, and branch assistants for their tireless efforts and dedication to the success of our directorate. Thank you all for your attention, and thank you for allowing us to present today.
Thank you very much. I'd also like to introduce my deputy, Terry Barth, who is the type of person who's able to calm me down at times and to set me on a straight and narrow path at times. I also want to thank both Bruce and Jason from the Chief Legal Counsel for, we do a lot with them, and we have a great working relationship. Regarding the strategic plan, we do have 9 items on there. Of the 9 items, we have 5 that have been completed. The other ones are ongoing. A lot have to do with training, which we continue to do, uploading documents in the cases of the Secretary of Records and the finances. We do give the reports every quarterly to the DCOs to see where you all stand with your Secretary of Records and Finances, as well as to NextCom and provide them with the report. We do need a little bit more help in having those that information uploaded into the DMS system. But it's always continuing and it's always ongoing. I do like to thank the captain, BSX, for his continuing support, as well as BSX. I know we've done a lot for Commander Keel. I appreciate Steve Minatola, too, his patience with us as well. We are continuing to grow. We do have growing pains. We try to work that out as we go along. I do like and appreciate the support that we receive from both NACO and VNACO. Thank you for that. And also for the DCOs, I know we're starting to communicate a lot more, working a lot more together. We're there for you. Just want to thank everybody, and that's it.
Okay, we have another break scheduled. You're welcome. So we're going to take a few minutes. Mainly so I could get my coffee. Thank you. We'll figure it out. We're not going to worry about it.
I think Steve's are handling it. So, somebody in the chain on the email that I got said that they need.
Brandon, as long as I have something to wash it down, I'm good.
Yeah, we got that. We'll save some of these. We'll figure it out. No, we'll get it. It'll be good.
All right, well, 10 minutes, let me stretch my legs.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Oh, this is. Man, I'm feeling sorry. That was on.
see where it goes. I don't know.
I don't know.
I've already opened mine.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Yeah, I didn't want to be over here like shaking my hands when I was over here, so I was. Oh, that's good.
Isn't that good? They see that stuff up there. Anyway, I please step those in. Every time I go volunteers and everyone everywhere wants to know who's outside this.
You are the best in the entire world.
And you're also there.
I will. Yeah. Clearly, none of them have asked where they came from, which means they're not as concerned about it as I am. When I saw that, that's why I yelled, "Who? Who is the angel among us?"
The angel of heat.
The angel of saving grace. I'm gonna put. They'll be everywhere. This is fantastic. Where'd you get those? Brilliant. I said brilliant.
Hey, so what are the two TSP things? What are the two TSP?
I feel okay. I'm just.
Like, I'm in the highest one. I'm in the S. Is there like five? Is there like five of them you can choose? Like, yeah, I have like a mix.
Yeah. Are you investing in anything?
No. I got like $500,000. I just know if that was normal or if that's not enough.
I hadn't figured out. I'm looking at all my PowerPoints on it. That's a good idea. So that's a good idea. The National Guard, and they take their drills, take that, and just by the time they're done, they can live off of it. But a lot of my recruits are out of Dodge Charger, and they go get
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Master Chief Hart. Ask him. I know exactly what you're talking about. I see those all over the place. I'm not sure. We can ask. There's some boatswain's mates around here that will know. Yeah. They might know. Did you go off by those last night?
Had him out here for us. All right. I gotta get this party going. I'm ready to.
You got what? One more session?
God, that mic is hurt. We got the blue and then this one. Just All right, one more minute and we're going to get started. That means start moseying to your seats, please. Bruce, you ready? Y'all ready? All right, we are ready to get started for the last sessions of Opcom. All right. Just start talking, it's fine.
Yeah. They're still walking around, which I don't like. I'm speaking.
They'll be walking for a minute. These people are coming over here, so you're good. Go ahead.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the last portion of the session today. I'm Bruce Kelton, the Chief Counsel, and next to me is Deputy Chief Counsel Jason Pfeffer. My background, just to give you a little bit of information about myself, is I have a background as both a state and federal prosecutor, private practice litigator, and administrative law judge. So I've had a lot of experience in court. Jason's background is in corporate and insurance legal practice. He was an associate general counsel and managing attorney for USAA, where he represented military veterans, military members, and their families. He was also senior counsel for a global technology trade association, and practiced global law in a global law firm in its corporate and banking department. So he has brings a tremendous amount of experience to the Chief Counsel's office, and has been a great asset to the auxiliary and to the Chief Counsel's office. And I recommend using him for any of your legal issues if I'm not available. He's a great attorney. We also have 3 assistant Chief Counsels, each one basically assigned to an area, and they're available to assist the district legal officers in legal matters that come up. And we have a team of really experienced and excellent district legal officers throughout the country who really do a great job and provide great representation to the districts, as you all know. So we've got a pretty good law firm going here in the auxiliary, and I'm very proud to be part of it. Jason's going to speak to you in a few moments about the revitalization of the Legislative Liaison Program, but let me just give you a little bit of information about some of the 2025 programs and initiatives the Chief Counsel's Office is involved in and has worked on. As Commander Mahalchik and Sean Peoples mentioned earlier, We continue to work with and advise and assist the Administrative Investigations Directorate. The purpose is to ensure that sensitive and complex investigative matters and investigative conclusions are consistent with the auxiliary manual, consistent with Coast Guard and auxiliary policy, and very importantly, that the requisite due process for our members is maintained. And that's a very extremely important objective of the Chief Counsel's Office, is to safeguard and protect our members, however they're involved in the investigative process. So we want to ensure that fairness to our members, fairness to people involved in the process on either side, and ensure due process. So we spend a lot of time working with the Administrative Investigations Directorate to accomplish that. They do a great job in the investigations, and it's really worked out well. And it's a sensitive matter for all concerned. So we want to be very careful that we maintain that due process and arrive at valid investigative conclusions. We also provide advice to the district leadership and district legal officers with respect to district investigations, district administrative investigations, and especially in complex and more sensitive matters. So we want to make sure that we give proper, if we're asked by the district legal officer, we give them proper legal guidance on their investigations. We also process and refer for possible investigation complaints that are sent in by the general public to the auxiliary help desk number, and that happens every once in a while. Some of them can be a little wild and crazy, but some of them are valid. So we do process investigations upon complaints from members of the general public about a possible auxiliary member I don't know how to put it, but auxiliary member, complaints about auxiliary members. We have been working with BSX and NACO to revise and amend the standing rules at all levels to expand and optimize auxiliaries' participation in governance, including enshrining the right to participate remotely through a hybrid voting system. We are working on that. We hope to complete it. We will complete it prior to the next election cycle, but hope to complete it sooner than that. That's a primary objective that we want to get done within the next several months. Jason has reinvigorated our legislative liaison program, and he's going to be speaking to you about that in a few minutes. He developed and delivered the first quarterly auxiliary law tracker report to BSX 21 state program coordinators and district recreational boating program specialists. The law tracker, and Jason will give you more information on that, but it actually provides awareness of pending and newly established state legislation in support of BSX 21's efforts to help states enact legislation that is consistent with federal requirements. So that has been a significant accomplishment that Jason has developed for us, and really appreciate that. We continue to conduct monthly telecon meetings with the district legal officers to ensure consistent, timely, and correct legal advice provided to district leadership and units. That has worked out very well, and we've really been doing it for 4 or 5 years now or more. And we get great attendance by the legal officers, and that ensures uniform and consistent legal advice throughout the country to all the districts. We also provide appropriate and timely and legal and procedural advice, including auxiliary unit contract and letter of intent reviews to the DLOs to make sure that our contracts are consistent with auxiliary legal policy, and to ensure that we avoid any legal issues that can arise from contract negotiations. And finally, we serve as a legal advisor to NEXCOM and National Staff Leadership. So with regard to our national staff people, we're always available to provide legal advice to them and to review potential contracts that they may want to enter into. I'd like to thank Steve Minutolo, Steve Keel, and Kelly Richters from BSX because they provide us with tremendous amount of support, and we really appreciate that, and that really helps the legal program. So that's basically a summary of some of the things that we're involved in as legal advisors to the auxiliary and to the auxiliary units and leadership. I'm going to now turn it over to Jason. He's going to give you a little more information on the legislative liaison program and the law tracker.
Hello, everybody. I'll be quick. Bruce already mentioned the establishment or the reestablishment of the program. The DSOs continue to support the program by appointing qualified LLOs for each state. With the Director of Concurrence, the program continues to mature, but in particular, this year we were asked by BSX to help out, and there are times when, and this is verbatim, when the states introduce or enact legislation that unintentionally conflicts with federal law or regulation. If BSX is aware beforehand, we can offer states alternative language that does not conflict. It's much easier to deconflict before legislation is enacted than after the fact. And so, as Bruce mentioned, we did compile our first quarterly report for the RBS specialist, and the feedback that has been received, this is exactly what we hope to see from this collaboration. Outstanding, very insightful, thank you. These quarterly reports will provide our BSX 21 state program coordinators and district recreational boating program specialists much more awareness of pending and newly established state legislation. While Bruce mentioned me, it's really not me. I just kind of coordinate, and thanks to our IT partners, Susan, Carlos, Peter, thanks to the DCOs, chief of staffs, and the DLOs to support the program, to continue to have it mature. Historical leaders, I don't know if Chris Ware is here, but he helped out at the outset. And the partnership with BSX, of course. But most importantly, it's the LLOs that are actually at the state level researching and inputting into the tool to allow the information to go over to BSX. But our maturity journey continues, so more to come on that. So thank you very much for your time.
Good afternoon. I'm Bart Knapp. I'm the Deputy ANACO for Finance. Unfortunately, Commodore Miller could not be here for the meeting this month or this time, so I'm going to try to take your place. For accomplishments for the finance group, we have managed to pass along, well, it says 84,000, 85,000, probably about closer to $90,000 worth of donations that were earmarked for auxiliary units, flotillas, and divisions. We've already processed about 59 reimbursement packages for travel and expenses, and we are keyed up and ready to go to process your travel reimbursements. We are currently have been meeting with the various directors for the 2026 budget process. We will be completed with that at the end of this summit, and we will be starting to work with the ANACOs and hope to have that completed within the next roughly 2 weeks. Also, a revised CG AUX A3, which is your travel reimbursement form, has been submitted for current and future use. I don't think it's up and ready for use yet. The Southwest District Northern Region has been working on working with PayPal to come up with a standardized and simplified process for auxiliary units to set up PayPal accounts. and that is still in the process. However, when that is completed, it will be rolled out for all units to have access to. Commodore Miller has been participating with the Southeast District in developing an AI capability to provide accurate and timely financial answers to financial questions. And she has also forwarded a recommendation to revise the Opcom Section 8H, for solicitation, gifts, and donations to better support the auxiliary units and ideally to simplify and streamline the process. I can tell you right now that when we get a donation in, whether it's $5 or $10,000, we touch it at least 8 times before it gets out to the flotillas or units. And as a message to the districts, to the various units, please, when your units receive a donation check, have them deposited in their bank immediately. The check itself will stale date within 90 days. And if that happens, we must, it will be rejected and we have to reissue. And also, please ensure and impress upon your units to keep their FSO and FN information up to date with proper addresses and proper individuals, because those are the addresses we depend on to send the checks out. Next. For financial reminders, just remember that you should be in the process now of collecting dues for 2026, and that should be completed by the end of September. By the beginning of October, you should be starting your process to disenroll your members who have not paid their dues for 2026, and this must be in to the DIROCs by 15 September 25. One thing to keep in mind is if you have any members who have PPE listed in AUX data, that has to be cleared out before they can be taken off of your roster. So even though they may not have paid, even though we may have submitted their paperwork, if they have PPE in AUX data too, they will not be taken off of your roster. We anticipate that the billings, that the pull for the 2026 membership billings will be done right around the 10th of January. So it is imperative that you get your disenrollments in and processed by the 15th, or into the DIROCs by the 15th of December, so they can be processed and your inactive or members who need to be disenrolled can be taken off of your roster. Just a reminder, your unit membership budgets, your unit budgets should be approved by the membership by January 31st, 2026. And your flotillas, Form 7025, signed and audited, need to be into your divisions by January 31st, 2026. A budget and audit committee should be organized and prepared to audit the 7025s in a timely manner. Finally, just a reminder that when you're submitting your AUX travel vouchers, your AUX Form 3 claim for reimbursement, include your AUX 1 travel reimbursement authorization and all your expenses that you are claiming, receipts for all expenses you are claiming. Anything missing will delay the process. We hope that we have a team of members ready to go to process these claims, so it's just not 1 or 2 people doing it, but we still have a process of processing the claim, review, entering it in for billing, and reviewing the billing. So that all takes time, but you need to continue, you need to get your information in cleanly, and we will do our best to get it out to you on a timely basis. And just a quick reminder that OXA does not reimburse for mileage or seat upgrades or premium airfare. And then I think up there you have your email for finance at CGOXA to submit your travel reimbursement requests, or you can mail it in to the address on the screen. With that, I'm done.
Yeah. Well, all right. Sorry about that. Trying to wake y'all up a little bit. We lined up early over here because we didn't want Kelly to say that we didn't follow instructions. And I heard somebody at the break say something about, we got an hour left to go. So we'll try to be quick. We'll try not to stay too long on here, but I am very, very proud to introduce the Forcecom team. I am the Assistant National Commodore for Forcecom, which is Force Readiness Command. The acronym is Forcecom. And our team over here, I'm assisted by Deputy ANACO Barry Denton and Deputy ANACO Lee Zimmerman. And then our wonderful crew, we've got our Director of Public Affairs, we have Rick Corrales, and Byron Vosinis, who is not with us today. Director of Human Resources is David Desmoni, and he is assisted by Deputy Director Bridget Riley, who is upstairs facilitating the DCOHRs in their class, and then they are also assisted by Dick McConnell, who's not here today. The Director of Training is Farron Pettis. Most of you know Farron. You've worked with her already a lot. She's been assisted by Greg Hendricks. He's over there. He's with us today. And then our chaplain support is headed by Director, well, we call him Mo, but Maurice Capro. He is not with us today, but his deputy director is Don Brown. He's going to pray for us all. And then Student Affairs is led by Director Bruce Johnson, and he's also assisted by Commodore Alan Fred. Now, I know Alan Fred is watching because he texted me, so we miss you, buddy. Just wanted to call you out there. So I'm going to turn it over to Rick Corrales and go from there. But we'll try to be quick. We'll try to get you out here as quick as we can. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rick Corrales, and I am with the A-Team.
Maybe you can hire the A-Team.
I want to take a moment to recognize the entire public affairs team, how far we've come, and where we are heading. First, we're entering the new era of alignment with our active duty counterparts. Starting this month, auxiliary social media will begin strategically amplifying messages from CG 0922, the Coast Guard's Office of Public Affairs. We're not just sharing posts, we're reinforcing Force Design 2028, celebrating the operational excellence of our shipmates and embedding the auxiliary story right where it belongs, alongside Coast Guard's frontline story. Second, our digital front door is getting some reinforcement. Directorates A and C are partnering to launch a new national auxiliary website. We're in the planning stages of creating this hub for the public, voters, prospective members, and anyone curious about who we are. The new site will help them connect with our brand and our mission. It will be modern, intuitive, and mission-focused to improve the way we present ourselves online. Third, we've arrived. The Auxiliary Q2 is now live on Divots. This is a major milestone. For the first time, the story of our volunteers are sitting side by side with those of military branches. That means greater visibility. That means broader reach. It means increased impact, especially with the media. As Captain Timothy Bologna's chief of the Office of Public Affairs put it, it works really well on that platform. Another great way to increase the audience and leverage Divot's capabilities. Well done, Auxiliary. Let's build on that. If you're in public affairs, whether in a flotilla or a district, you should be qualified to publish on Divots. Our story belongs on that platform. Let's make sure we get there. Let's use it. And you've heard it here first. We have started the planning stages of developing the Auxiliarist podcast. This is what progress looks like: strategic, deliberate, unified. Now, let me discuss where we still have work to do and opportunities to improve. First, training consistency. The Ox 12 course budget is under review, and it's time we align it fully with Force Design 2028. Let me be clear. This course saves the Coast Guard money. We can deliver the same training for half the cost of sending someone to Fort Meade. But alongside the budget efficiencies, we need brand discipline. This week here, I've seen some incredible presentations, thoughtful, well-delivered, and mission-focused. But I've also seen slides with mismatched layouts, outdated graphics, and inconsistent branding. We now have an improved PowerPoint template. It is clean, modern, unified, and it represents all of us. Moving forward, I urge you to please use that standard template. Let's speak one visual voice. Second, our creative team is making progress in new district identifiers and rebranding material for many of you. But there's a catch. Many of the original graphics files are missing. That slows us down. If your district or program needs help updating those materials, please reach out to Public Affairs. And third, silos. They're real, and they're holding us back. If you hear one thing from me today, is that Public Affairs is your partner. We're here to shape your message, tell your story, and amplify your mission. Look around. We are one team. The public sees the Coast Guard Auxiliary, not our org chart. They expect clarity, they expect purpose, and they expect strength in our united voice. Our customers is clear. Number one is the U.S. Coast Guard. Number two is the voting public. Number three is our members. Let's stop using 50 different voices and 50 different styles. Similar to a Fortune 500 company that uses the communications department to put out anything out to the public. Let's move forward in an aligned, professional, and deliberate manner. We have the tools, the platform, and the people. Thank you for your attention.
Good afternoon. Dave Desimone, Director of Human Resources. Ribbon Checker is making a comeback thanks to the Computer Software and Cybersecurity Districts Carlos Arenas and Cliff Need. Ribbon Checker will be added to our interactive uniform guide, the H Directorate website, to enhance our proper and professional uniform wear. The interactive uniform guide is constantly updated and improved for our auxiliary members' uniform reference and uniform inspections. H Technology Division is providing new member surveys, exit surveys, 9-quarter trend surveys, and AAMS contact surveys to provide information for positive change. Our directorate has completed Phase 1 training, our Training and Development Division, for all HR officers, flotilla commanders, vice commanders, and commanders. Phase 2 2025 HR training is now underway. AAMS training is currently offered in each district by our Inquiries Division branch chiefs and branch assistants, with the updated AAMS PowerPoint presentation for all HR officers, FCs, and VFCs. Our directorate continues to collaborate with the A Directorate, T Directorate, I Directorate, C Directorate, Y Directorate, and U Directorate to achieve our mutual milestones and goals. Coast Guard support. Support continues to be offered by our culinary assistant to vital support to the U.S. Coast Guard bases, stations, and cutters. U.S. Coast Guard recruiting support has greatly contributed to the U.S. Coast Guard active duty reaching its recruiting goals. We have a joint committee working to revise the U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary Mentoring Guide. We currently have a completed mentoring PowerPoint presentation that is available to all on the H Directorate website. Deputy Director Bridget Riley is assisting with the DSO HR class at this national training conference. All presentations from this DSO HR training conference will be available on the H Directorate website. Bridget Riley and Richard McConnell do an outstanding work as H Directorate deputies. I am honored to work with them for our goals and milestones. We're blessed to have an amazing H team in the H Directorate. Many of our U.S. Coast Guard support staff were placed in rear recently. Thanks to Bill Ballard for his solution to correct this issue at this conference. Medical Service Division now has a new code to enter so that they can put their clinical hours into AUX-Data 2 to avoid losing certifications. The H Directorate website has been updated with new and improved information available to all. Check it out, please. U.S. Coast Guard Recruiting Division is not receiving all of its hours in AUX-Data 2 currently. We continue our work to reduce the number of members in AP status, and the U.S. Coast Guard Recruiting Division members that were in rear. This issue has been solved at this conference. Thank you very much.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Farron Petties. This is my deputy, Greg Hendricks. NACO said that we should take this time to brag about our directorate, so I'm going to tell you our story and what we've been doing sort of in a little bit different method. So the work of the T Directorate is overseen by 39 members and Mr. M and LT, and our regular day-to-day work of updating, reviewing, and supporting training for all 19,000 plus members goes apace. But the bragging part I'd like to brag about. In the last few months, our very first on-the-ground Train the Trainer AFLC course was held in East District Southern. So I thank Jim and Dave for constantly inviting us in to offer leadership training. We qualified new AFLC instructors. We set them up with their own resources in classroom so that East District Southern can now have in-house, in-district AFLC instructors with all the resources and materials to train more AFLC instructors and support their leadership mission. So thank you, Commodore. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate that. I'm also happy to announce that this year we've two break-in instructors have graduated to full instructor. Commodore Martin Goodwin and Commodore Kathy Slaybaugh are now officially blessed AMLOC instructors, so thank you. And just at this conference yesterday, Auxiliarist Pam Thompson completed her Beta PQS to become an OXLAMS instructor. Thank you, Commodore Shafini, for directing her to us. I would like to ask you to please send us your leadership. If you have good leaders that you want to be inspiring and leading your next up-and-coming leaders, send them our way so we can get them trained to be AFLC instructors, OXLAMS instructors, AMLOC, ALOC. I'm really nervous, so I hope you can hear me because I can't really hear myself. Thank you. Okay, I already did that. We're good there. The last thing I really want to talk about is that we have created a sandbox. You know, Moodle is a tool that that's where we house all of our training products. We have wonderful directors that have taken us up on using that training opportunity. We have created for every single director and for every single Commodore and Chief of Staff district sandbox training within Moodle. So if you go into Moodle and you are response, you can click on response, you'll see something that says sandbox model course. Only the director and the deputy have access to that, and only they will be allowed to invite people into that training. They can see what Moodle can do for them, and then they can play with Moodle and see if they like it. In the district links for all of our Commodores and Chiefs of Staff, you also have that same access. I've created each of you links. You can go in and play with those. You can create and house training, and we are here to provide whatever help and support that you would like. Is there anything else I should say? High tide. Y'all have a great day.
There we go. Good afternoon. I'm Chaplain Don Brown. I'm the Deputy Directorate of the G Directorate, G for Good. And I'm glad to be here representing my colleague and friend, Chaplain Mo Capro, who cannot be here, but hopefully is watching us on the stream. Also bring greetings from Captain Jennifer Bowden, the Chaplain of the United States Coast Guard. And I haven't seen him here, but I understand that the Deputy Chaplain of the Coast Guard, Commander Bob Mills, is here someplace, probably someplace warmer than in here. It is my privilege to speak and to brag a little bit on behalf of the wonderful team of 107 ACS chaplains. I'm going to give you 3 ups. And with a little bit of explanation, oh, there it is. This is really cool. The 3 ups right at the moment, the G Directorate continues to send ACS chaplains for basically enculturation and some additional training and experience to the first week of Naval Chaplain School in Newport, Rhode Island. And that is generously funded by our friends at the Coast Guard Foundation. I believe the next team goes in October, but this has been really very, very successful. They go and they participate. I don't know if they do the 5 a.m. PT or not. I think they're welcome to do that. But everything else, ACS deployments and underway time upon aboard United States Coast Guard cutters continue. Recently, we had another ACS chaplain on board the Eagle. She posted a picture climbing up the ropes that way. More recently, and certainly of a more serious note, an ACS chaplain from here in Texas deployed in very timely fashion to Kerrville, Texas, to support the work of the helo crew out of Air Station Corpus Christi that was responsible for, I lost count what the number is, but well over 100 saves. So he was there and able to spend some time with them on short order. Beside our deployments upon United States Coast Guard cutters and stations and other locations, we have now sent a chaplain to support the 5th Fleet, the United States Navy. And I'm not sure if that was in the Arabian Sea or the Persian Gulf, or it's one of those, but a long way away. So that is pretty exciting as well. So that continues, and it seems to be ramping up, which is very good. A third up is our annual evaluation program is beginning for 2025. This year, we're hoping to partner with technology to be able to get the paper flow through much more efficiently. It took a long time last year. I want to pause before I do my 3 Debbie Downers and share a very vital point that I don't think can be reinforced enough. And I want you all to help me by sharing this with others that you meet. And that is unambiguously the Auxiliary Chaplain Support Program does support the members of the auxiliary. It does support the member of the auxiliary. For most religious ministries, functions or needs such as counseling, invocations, and benedictions at events, hospital visitations, memorial services, eligible burials at sea, safe talk, next of kin notifications, and so forth. All you have to do is exactly what the Coast Guard would do and contact your sector chaplain and request chaplain support. In over 8 years that I've been doing this, I was turned down 1 time for doing support to the auxiliary, and that was because the sector chaplain wanted to do the memorial service for the auxiliarist themselves, only to get sick, and I ended up doing it anyway. There is a big exception, though, to contact the sector chaplain. If there is an auxiliarist, or for that matter, Coast Guard personnel, returning from supporting a U.S. Coast Guard operational mission, and they contact an ACS chaplain directly, we will provide the ministry support, and then we will contact our supervisory chaplain and make notification of that fact. So we are not going to delay urgent, if somebody's having a stress reaction or other trauma from an operational mission, we're not going to say, well, you go through in this course and take your circuitous way around. No, we're going to deal with it immediately. On the other hand, if it is more routine, go through your sector chaplains. I hope that is clear. We're here to help. We are never, ever, though, going to refuse to provide for an auxiliarist who is connected to a U.S. Coast Guard operational mission. I hope that's clear. Our 3 Debbie Downers, we are continuing to work toward obtaining funding for our ACS chaplains doing religious ministry support who have to travel beyond 50 miles. And you would think with 107 chaplains that would never happen. I can say where I am, I travel more than 50 miles. It shouldn't happen. I can't travel anywhere that there are Coast Guard in less than 50 miles. So it can become an expensive commitment for our chaplains. So we are working to obtain funding to support that. We're also working as a result of some issues, and I'm not going to get into the specifics here, but we are trying to limit the membership in the specialized ACS Chaplain Support Flotilla. And this matter is pending, and it is important. So those are our, and then we are working to add ACS-specific data details to to AUX Data 2 reporting. And lastly, by way of bragging, we also just had our very first ACS chaplain complete United States Navy chaplain school and is now an 03 Navy chaplain in the reserves, and she will be serving the U.S. Coast Guard in the Great Lakes District. So that is just wonderful news. And I want to thank, on behalf of Mo and myself, I want to thank our wonderful division chiefs, our branch chiefs, our branch assistants, but above all of the chaplains for their hard work and wonderful support. And I thank you for your time and ask God's blessing upon you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Bruce Johnson, and I'm the Director for Student Programs. And I'm pleased to say, before I go any further, I'm the last directorate that you're going to hear from, so we're almost done. I'm pleased to report on the auxiliary's very successful efforts to counteract our aging out challenge by encouraging and engaging with youth. The Youth Programs Division reports that the auxiliary has chartered 4 new Sea Scout units in the last 4 months. The Youth Programs Division is working with the districts to encourage flotillas to support local Sea Scout units. These efforts are now being tracked to gauge the effectiveness of these efforts. I'd like to remind you that Youth Programs also hosts a monthly workshop called Coast Guard Tech Talks that is broadcast via YouTube, and you can get to it via @AuxScout. And these videos are really useful for member training in flotilla meetings as well. We have quite a few flotillas who are using it that way. There are well over 100 videos that can fill in that gap when flotillas may need somebody who has an expertise in areas that they don't have. The AUP division, Auxiliary University Program, in the first half of 2025 enrolled over 80 new students, issued 60 senior level certificates of achievement, and 20 graduate level certificates of achievement. The Auxiliary Academy Admissions Partners Program has just finished the 3 weeks of the Academy Introduction Mission, or AIM weeks, and approximately 600 Academy candidates participated. Roughly 50% of the AIM staff were auxiliary partners who contributed over 4,500 hours. Over 60 new auxiliary partners were certified in the last few months. They've been added to AUX Data 2 and are now completely onboarded. And the Partners Division will be initiating quarterly continuing education webinars for auxiliary partners in the very near future. Now, we have a number of challenges. Nearly all of the auxiliaries' involvement with the Sea Scouts, our official youth program, is happening in Atlantic East and Atlantic West. The lack of engagement by flotillas and divisions in the Pacific area with local Sea Scout ships is very troubling. This is a missed membership growth opportunity for these districts. Several AUP units are experiencing leadership, membership, and/or auxiliary support challenges. Support for the AUP program is uneven across auxiliary districts. The AUP division is currently developing campaigns to explain the program better to elected auxiliary leadership to encourage enhanced auxiliary support. The Partners Program reports that there are 10 states where we have very few or no partners. These states are Arkansas, Delaware, Iowa, Indiana, Kentucky, North and South Dakota, Nebraska, Oklahoma, and Wyoming. This severely limits our ability to reach out to high school students who may have an interest in attending the Coast Guard Academy. In conclusion, the Coast Guard's Force Design 2028 calls on us to, quote, expand all non-academy commission programs, end quote. We are Semper Paratus, already prepared to make that happen with the Sea Scouts, with the Auxiliary University Program, and the Academy Partners programs. Thank you very much.
And I always seem to get to go last. I don't know if it's best for last or worse for last, but here I am. We'll see. We'll see how quick I am. I'm the only one that's, left. So anyway, and I'll try to be extremely fast. Okay, all right. Well, good. I've got 45 minutes worth of sheets. I'm lying. Hey, listen, so Forcecom is rocking it. And we are here for you. 100% we are here for you. Our strengths, when the executive order came out, we were on it, tried to get everything that NACO NACO wanted us to get complete. We tried to accomplish that. There were a few snags along the way, but proud to say that the team jumped to the challenge and just went from there. Augmentation, your troops, or your coasties, your shipmates, our shipmates are doing the job. We get calls all the time for the augmentation, so that's a strength for us. Updating the mentor guide, as David had said, and the new ribbon checker. You guys have been asking for ribbon checker for a while. It's been down for a while. They're working on it. We're going to give it back to you, and it's going to be back real soon. Everybody has checked it out and so forth. Opportunities, we have focused recruitment that we have to get done, targeted marketing along with targeted recruiting. So if you know the left-handed monkey fish pipe fitter, let us know. We might need them. And then we want to increase augmentation, other areas of augmentation. As far as our strategic plan goes, Forcecom has been given 104 tasks to do. In student programs, they have 38, 16 are complete, 16 are in progress, 6 have not started. Public Affairs has 28 tasks, 15 are complete, 13 in progress, and none not started. Training, they have 26 tasks, 6 are complete, 20 in progress. Human Resources, we have 12. I know these numbers probably don't match the screen, but Human Resources has 12 tasks, 3 complete, 7 in progress, 2 not started, and Chaplain Support got lucky this year. They said, we don't need to give you any this time. They had a bunch last time. So they're working strong, hard, and heavy to get this complete. But I tell you, I really can't say enough good things about Forcecom. I mean, as you've already heard, all the remarkable things that the Forcecom team is doing, the scope of what they have achieved and continue to do, if I tried to list them all right here, right now, we'd be here for a week. That's how extraordinary this Forcecom team that I've been blessed to be a part of this year has done. Looking forward, or looking ahead, the Force Design 2028 gives us a clear vision of where we're going and how the Forcecom will continue to shape the future of the auxiliary, from strengthening recruitment and retention to modernizing our image, from delivering state-of-the-art training and education to inspiring a new generation, of even extending our impact into spiritual leadership across the globe. Forcecom is committed, capable, and we are here for you. Forcecom is not, you know, the sexy group, I guess, but we are the behind-the-scenes people that are here for you to back whatever it is that you need. You know, it's kind of like AV. AV rules. You know, we are here behind the scenes to help you guys, whatever it is that you need, 100%. I would be remiss if I didn't take a moment to thank my deputy ANACOs, Barry Denton, who is in charge of public affairs and training, and Lee Zimmerman, who oversees student programs, the chaplains, and human resources. Thank you for your vision and your dedication. To our directors, deputy directors, and their talented staff, your tireless service sets a standard for excellence. Your commitment is unmatched, and your contributions drive everything we do. Together, we are not just building programs, we are shaping the future of the auxiliary. Forcecom, a service that connects all, a presence everywhere for everyone. And just one last little comment I'd like to make. It must be a Great Lakes thing. Commodore Kumpf must be doing something spectacular along with Commodore Thatch, but one of our shipmates, John Saran, who used to be in the public affairs with Forcecom, just graduated from OCS this afternoon. He's now a Lieutenant JG. Yes, indeed. And I'm sure he's not watching, but because he's probably doing push-ups because he got his commission or something. But you know, kudos to him for a job well done. We had no worries that he would not make it. He's going to serve as a legal officer in the reserves. So another product of the auxiliary. So kudos to you. Thank you very much for the pleasure of your time. I'm done. I don't even have to do 45 minutes. We did good. All right. Y'all have a wonderful day.
Well, thank you, everybody. We always seem to end early. We're always worried about time, but thank you for sticking to your time limitations and getting us through this. This was incredible. I heard a lot of great things that our directorates are doing, our national staff is doing. They really are keeping us afloat and keeping us aware of programs and changes and making sure that we're doing the right thing at every level of our organization. So again, thank you very much. This was great. To the directorates, I know you all spent a lot of time getting this prepared, as well as working towards a strategic plan. So thank you very much. Mrs. Chrysalis, do we happen to have any announcements?
I always have announcements. Thank you all for sending in your slides. It helps me put it all together. Great job on that. Thank you. I will be sending out the complete deck to all of you, so you will have that. So I'm sure you all took notes. I probably should have told you at the beginning of that since you were taking all those notes, but I will have that complete deck sent out to y'all. Tomorrow morning, we will have the National Board meeting here in this ballroom at 0800. To my DCOs, I will have packets at each one of your spots with some certificates for you to take back to your districts. So just be on the lookout for those. And tax exempt forms, I know I have mentioned that probably 10 times. I probably will continue. There are some of those at the registration table out here if you need those. As a reminder, to reiterate what our finance officer said, those travel claims, you have 30 days. After that, you may not get paid. So make sure when you get back, you're putting in your travel claims. And that is all I have. We'll see y'all tomorrow morning. Thank you.